Hello, I'm Amy the Bunny Lady, and this is my partner Elusive, Ellie for short. High five. Good job. And today we're going to give you some tips to make sure that you are taking great care of those senior bunnies out there. If you are new to our channel, welcome. We give tips and tricks for how to make sure you have a happy and healthy bunny in your home. So if that's the kind of thing that you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscription button and the notification bell next to it so that you never miss any of our weekly videos. So as rabbits get older, they start to slow down, they lose muscle mass. Sometimes they will lose or gain weight depending on their activity levels. Elderly rabbits are also more likely to have health problems such as dental problems, arthritis, sore hocks, the sores on the bottom of their feet, and other like digestive problems and heart problems. So it is important that we take the time to comfort our rabbits and keep them as healthy as we can as they age. Before Ellie came along, I had an elderly bun, Tenchi. She lived to be about 13, and she's definitely slowed down by that point. She was going blind in one eye. She had arthritis. I definitely had to make sure I took her physical abilities into account when I was caring for her, to make sure that she could stay as comfortable as possible and still stay a happy bunny, even while she was getting on in years. So when exactly does a rabbit become elderly? This is kind of a confusing question because it really depends on the rabbit. Many rabbits will be able to stay very active and healthy all the way up until they're like 8 years old. Whereas other rabbits, you'll start to notice that they're starting to slow down at like even 5 or 6 years old. So it really does depend. They might look skinnier because they're losing muscle mass and just have less energy in general, be less willing to hop up onto things. It really depends on the individual rabbit. These are still things you can take into consideration to help your rabbit as they age. So one thing you can do to make your rabbit's environment a little bit easier to get around is by giving them a low entry litter box. So you can do this either by getting one that is specifically made to have a low entry. So it will be one that has low sides or has a little low door entry point. If you don't want to get a completely separate litter box for them, you can also very easily just cut a doorway hole into the litter box that you have to help them get in it more easily. This is because as rabbits age, they're more likely to have weaker muscles and get arthritis. These two together make it so that it can often be difficult for rabbits to get over high edges of litter boxes, to hop over them, so they might start to like pee on the floor next to the litter box instead of making their way into it because it's just too much trouble for them to actually hop into the litter box. So giving them that low entry point can really be helpful. Willow toys are also great for elderly rabbits. Willow, the bark in Willow, actually has some strong anti-inflammatory properties, so it can be actually pretty great for soothing the joints and aches and pains that an elderly rabbit might be having. You can get Willow toys like Willow balls, or you can get like Willow sticks, things like that, but they're great toys to give your rabbit to just help them feel a little bit better, feel a little bit healthier. If you do believe your rabbit has arthritis, though, you do want to make sure you make an appointment with your vet so that you can also get them pain medication for their arthritis. Because while Willow will be able to kind of help in a mild way with some of these aches and pains, it's not going to be a pain medication that can actually help them. I just want to be clear that this isn't instead of pain medication. It's kind of in addition to, or if it's just minor aches and pains as rabbits aging, but they don't actually have arthritis yet. You can also help your rabbit in their environment by providing some kind of soft flooring for them. So some kind of really soft mats or foam mats that can really be a relief for your rabbit's feet. Because the thing with rabbit feet is that their heel, it's kind of like our elbows, the skin there. The skin goes right up against the bone and it's really thin. And as rabbits age, the skin starts to get a little bit more brittle and they'll be much more likely to end up getting sores on the heels of their feet. So having soft flooring can really help to prevent these kinds of sores. Getting something like those really soft bath mats can actually be pretty great for rabbit feet and helping them stay comfortable in their environment. Many rabbits, as they age, end up getting scaling on their ears, which can be pretty itchy. This happens in other animals too. For example, dogs can also get scaling on their ears. And it ends up being pretty itchy, and you'll notice your rabbit itching their ears a lot, even if they don't have ear mites or any other kind of skin condition. It's just something that happens as they age. It's not something you can really do much about. But my vet at the time, when I had my elderly bun, Tenchi, my vet recommended giving just a pinch of flaxseed every day because that can help soothe skin conditions. So just putting a little pinch in with their pellets to get them to eat it, and it just helps a little bit to make it less itchy and a little bit more comfortable. So you can usually get flaxseed at a grocery store or something like that, and you can just add a pinch of it to your rabbit's pellets every day to get them to eat it, because that should be able to help their skin stay a little bit healthier. Many rabbits, as they age, they do start to get cataracts in their eyes, which does eventually blind them. So as I mentioned before, my bunny Tenchi was starting to go blind in one eye. That's because she was starting to get a cataract. My family also growing up did have another rabbit who, by the time she was 9 years old, was completely blind. So you could even see like the white cloudiness in both of her eyes. So she couldn't see. So if you do have a rabbit who's starting to go blind, who can't see very well, then you really want to take your environment into consideration and make sure you don't move things around too much. So avoid rearranging the room, try not to bring anything new into the room, and keep the center of the room free of too many objects, because your rabbit will be able to get used to the way that the room is situated, and they'll still be able to get around pretty well even when they're pretty much blind, simply because they can remember the layout of the room. But if the layout of the room is constantly changing, it'll be a lot more difficult for your rabbit to be able to get around. So if you suddenly change the place where you put a chair in the room, then it's likely that your rabbit will end up bonking into it. Now, rabbits do also like take a round around the room usually. They'll make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. So it's unlikely that they're going to just go dashing straight into a new object, but they might be not know that it's there and end up kind of bonking their nose a little bit, but not dashing headlong into it. It still will make it a lot more comfortable and make your rabbit feel a lot safer if the room does not change very much. Now, as your rabbit gets older, they are more likely to develop health problems. Many of these health conditions will develop within a year between vet visits. So I actually advise, once your rabbit starts to show signs of slowing down and being an elderly rabbit, then you should really bring your rabbit to the vet every 6 months instead of every year. This will help you maintain your rabbit's health, help you catch any signs of a health condition early, and get your rabbit medicine and help that they need to feel better. Your vet will be able to check your rabbit's teeth every 6 months, so make sure that there's no kinds of like dental disease, and they can like check their ears, make sure everything's okay in their ears. That's especially important for lop rabbits because they can often get infections in the base of their ears, and that's more likely as they get older and they're less able to clean themselves. It's more likely that that will happen. But definitely important to take your rabbit's health seriously and bring your rabbit to the vet every 6 months. Since a rabbit is getting older, it's likely that they're going to be less active than they used to be. They're not going to be racing around the living room with the family. They also might have a lot of difficulty hopping up on top of things. They might not be able to hop up on top of the couch like they used to and sit next to you. So you want to make sure that you give your rabbit some places where they can still be with you in the family, even if they can't reach their old favorite spots. So giving them some comfortable mats on the ground where they can lay on. Maybe you can sit on the floor more often so that you can be with your rabbit. But making sure that you give them places so that they can still be with the family and don't have to be totally separate all the way in their corner in their enclosure all the time. But give them ways that they can be with you and hang out with you and still get that socialization that they need, even if they can't be totally active like they used to. A lot of times elderly rabbits will be very happy to just lay around and observe you as you spend time with them in like the family room or something like that. They don't necessarily have to be hopping all over you for them to be enjoying your presence and enjoying spending time with you. Giving a rabbit some daily herbs can actually be really great for their health. So giving them herbs that are known to kind of help with inflammation or help with heart conditions or things like that can be a really great way to improve the health of your rabbit as they age or try to keep them as healthy as possible. Again, this should not be a replacement for medicine, but just a way of being wholesome with your rabbit's diet and keeping them as healthy as possible. My favorite online store actually has this herbal blend called Young at Heart. It's made specifically for elderly rabbits, and it has herbs in it that can help keep a rabbit feeling okay, feeling comfortable, and it has mild properties that can really help with your rabbit's overall health. So definitely worth checking out. I'll have a link for that in the description for you. But it is something that is both yummy for rabbits and can just be a wholesome addition to their diet. If you find that your rabbit is getting sore hocks despite having like soft flooring or something like that, what my vet recommended was using a dab of Vaseline on their heels. That helps keep the skin soft instead of brittle, which can help soothe the skin there and keep the sores from getting worse or keep the sores from actually becoming like open wounds. So that's just a way that you can, help keep your rabbit staying comfortable in their environment. Even though rabbits slow down a little bit as they age, you do want to encourage them to continue to exercise. So continuing to exercise will help keep their muscles stronger. It'll help make sure that they don't become obese in old age. So you want to do what you can to just encourage them to move around a little. Like, obviously they're not going to be dashing around the room like a young rabbit, but make sure you socialize with them on a daily basis. You can train them to do those little tricks so that they can still move around a little bit when they're interacting with you. You can give your rabbit their daily pellets in a treat ball, which is what I do, and that will get your rabbit moving around while they're eating their normal food. You can also just make sure your rabbit has a variety of toys on hand so that they have something to play with if they feel like it. Just making sure that your rabbit has easy ways to move around and get some exercise. You can check out my video all about how to encourage your rabbit to get some exercise, which can help give you some ideas for how to do this. Now obviously you don't want to push them too far. Like, if they feel like resting, they can, and elderly rabbits will be resting a lot. But, a little bit of exercise just to keep them healthy. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you found this video useful, and hit that subscription button. And thank you so much for watching. I do hope that we will see you next week.